Hello and welcome to The Foundations. This is your introduction to human design, gene keys, astrology, and the 64 archetypes. Today, we are going to go into the foundations of human design. So let's begin by orienting with this system, orienting with human design. We did give a brief introduction on part one when we bridged the gap between all the systems. So we did introduce it for a moment, but this is Ra Uru Hu, and he says, human design does not ask you to believe anything. It invites you to participate in a potentially life-transforming living experiment and provides you with the practical tools and information needed to live as yourself. That is what this system hopes to bring you, is the information to help you start to experiment with that. What is it to live as myself? Who am I? And how can I move through this world as my true self? This is the human design approach. Human design brings us the body graph. It brings us strategy and authority and the experiment. And we'll go into the experiment and strategy and authority in a moment. But we'll make sure that you understand all the different parts of this body graph. And you can see here that this is actually Ra Uru Hu's body graph. And this comes from Jovian Archive. This is what the charts looked like. Bella and I tend to use genetic matrix, so you'll see us bringing those up as examples. We can give you a link to pull your charts from genetic matrix later, but definitely in the course, that's the link to the human design body graph that we provided you with. So before we begin and before we dig into the system and the body graph, let's start with where it all started from. Well, I told you that Ra had an encounter with the voice. Well, he also had discovered that there was such a thing called a neutrino stream. And so the neutrino stream is a bunch of little tiny particles that carry mass that go through all of us, that go through all the planets, that can penetrate anything, anywhere, anytime. So because these are the smallest particles of mass, they carry information. So all of the information is passing through you, is passing through me, is passing through the planets, and it actually acts as like tiny cosmic messengers. There are about 3 trillion neutrinos that pass through every square inch of our planet. That includes you and me, every second. So they move super fast. The sun is going to produce 70% of these, and it sends it out to our solar system. 30% is emitted by other stars, the Milky Way, other stars that are in the Milky Way, Jupiter, since Jupiter is so huge, and we are filtering those. And when people say, I'm an empath, yeah, you are, because you're swimming in a cosmic soup with other people, and that material is passing back and forth between you guys. These neutrinos know no distance, no time. It just, it's coming through us, it's filtering through us, it's coming and it's reaching you. It's very fascinating. And that neutrino stream actually is also coming into your vehicle, into your body, into your vessel. And it is informing you, and it is working with your energy. So something that Ra Uru Hu discovered also was that our body, our vessel, it's made up of crystals of consciousness. I'm not going to get too deep into these, but this is the beginning of human design, the beginning of you. So when we look at these crystals, we have personality crystal, we have a design crystal, and we have a magnetic monopole. So the personality crystal, it's going to manifest as what you identify as yourself. It's your identity. It's who you are. It's your personality. And this is what Ra calls the passenger, or the passenger consciousness. And it's along for the ride. So your mind is not in charge. It's actually along for the ride. Then as we move down here, we see that we have this design crystal. The design crystal manifests as the bioenergetics of your body. It's the personality of your form. So your form is the vehicle. It's the form consciousness. So this is what's going to build your body, your meat suit, that you're going to then use as you live out your destiny. And what determines destiny? The magnetic monopole. And you can see that these actually sit in different centers. So the personality crystals in the head, the the design crystal is in the ajna, and the magnetic monopole is connected to the G center, the identity center. It's the driver of your quote unquote vehicle. And this magnetic monopole only attracts. It's just bringing stuff in. It's bringing life to you. Life is meeting you. It's also what holds us together in this quote unquote illusion of separateness. So it's going to make sure that the body and the consciousness stays together. When you go through the death process, that's where we start to separate from our body and we return back to quote unquote source. And then we deliver all of the information that we gathered on this human experience back to the earth, because the earth is actually evolving as well. So, like I said, it holds the personality and design crystal together, allows us to be who we are, and it connects us to our movement in time and through space, and it's guiding us on our path, aka our destiny. And that's all I'll mention about the design personality and magnetic monopole right now, but it's definitely fascinating, and some of the quote unquote science behind how this system even works, as well as the neutrino stream, because around 88 days before birth, we get that design crystal and it starts building our body. And then when we decide, yep, I'm going to come and be in this form, we start to get our personality online. So when we're born, this is who we are. This is our personality.